Hey everyone, I'm Alexia Maria Orihuela reporting for Hollywood Connections on Tan Talk Radio, and I'm here with
Jesus Molina.
All right, so can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Bronx, New York. I moved up to Rhode Island to pursue my wrestling career, and I'm 31 years old, and I'm in the wrestling business.
So how did you get into pro wrestling?
Started about 8 to 10 years ago. I was playing semi-pro football, also high school football. Didn't make it to the pros of football, so I wound up getting into wrestling because I'm just like an athlete, and I just like the physical contact of the sport. So that's how I got into wrestling.
Awesome. And so what made you go towards wrestling out of football? Like, what sparked your interest to try wrestling?
A friend of mine's invited me to a wrestling show, and I seen some of the guys doing moves and stuff, and seen them what they was doing, and I said to myself, it kind of looked pretty easy and stuff. So I went into a wrestling school to try it out, and it just came naturally to me.
Wow, that's cool. And what's your ring name?
I go by 3 different names. So I go by the Flying Hawaiian Keanu, also go by the Samoan Warrior Keanu, and then the Latin Bulldog Cruz.
And how did you come up with all those names? Did they all have different stories?
I originally started doing like a Spanish character in the New York City area, and when I moved up to the Rhode Island area, they had tons of Spanish guys doing Spanish characters. So a friend of mine suggested I should do a Samoan character because this limited in the Rhode Island area. So I wound up doing the Samoan character and stuff, and then it just kind of like took off from there. I was getting booked a lot. I just, felt comfortable with the character and stuff. And then I wound up, that was more of a heel character. So then I wound up becoming like a good guy. So I wound up doing like a Hawaiian character because it's more, more of a baby and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's really cool. I didn't know that you could have like the different characters, and that's really cool. So what would you say the best thing about wrestling is, and what is the hardest thing about wrestling?
Well, the best thing about wrestling is you get to meet unique people, you get to meet new people, and in the wrestling business, it's really a small world and stuff like that. There's not so many wrestlers out there, and then when you do, they become family, and that's the best thing about wrestling. And then the downside of it is that a lot of people like to stab each other in the back, you know what I mean? Because this is a cutthroat business, and everybody's trying to make it to the top, and that's the bad part of the business. Sometimes you don't know who to trust.
Have you ever had to do a character wrestling with one of your closest friends and pretended like you didn't like each other?
Oh yes, all the time, every time and stuff, and that's the fun part of it, because like storylines and stuff like that, you're supposed to be enemies and everything, but then after the show and stuff like that, you guys go back and you laugh about it, you go have a beer or so, and you know what I mean, you go out to dinner with each other and stuff like that, and that's what's so good about wrestling.
And that's cool, because not a lot of people know that, and that's really cool. So if any of your fans wanted to follow you, do you have any social media that can see some of your photos and everything? Well,
right now, if you I gotta fix my whole social media things up, because when I first did it, and I did it all wrong. So now that I'm getting out there more and stuff like that, I gotta start putting things together and stuff. But for now, you can follow me on Facebook. Well, my real name is Jesus Molina, which they say you should never put your real name and stuff. So that's the reason why I gotta fix my whole thing. But for now, you can follow me through that.
All right. And before we leave, do you have any advice to anyone who wants to be like you, who has interest in being a pro wrestler? What advice can you give to them for any tips or tricks for, getting in there?
This is not for everyone. That's one thing. It's not for everyone. If you're not an athlete, it's kind of hard to adapt to it, because your body's not accustomed to the physicality of it and stuff. You got to train your mind to say, you got to train your mind to tell your body, okay, I'm gonna throw myself this way and that way, because we're not made to be thrown around the way we get thrown around. So I suggest stay off of drugs. That's one. Don't do no drugs and nothing like that. Train really, really hard. Go to a good school that got good credentials. And always exercise and stay in shape, because you got to look like a star, you got to act like a star, and that's it.
Thank you so much. That was great advice. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for the interview, and thank you guys for watching.